Artfight. You know Artfight, everybody knows Artfight, everybody's talked about Artfight. Except for me. My best friend and roommate has participated in Artfight since I want to say 2022, and she's been trying to convince me to join with her, and I created my account but never ended up actually participating in Artfight. That was until several of my other friends said that they'd be participating in Artfight this year, and so I decided to give it a try. For those who for some reason don't know what Artfight is, essentially it's an art trading game, and the gimmick is that you can only play from July 1st to August 1st. So there is a limited amount of time to get in all of your pieces. So I thought this would be a fun experience for me, a fun way to trade art with my friends, and what an experience it was. The title and thumbnail is not clickbait. Artfight destroyed me this year, but not for the reason that you would think. So today, while I show you what I drew for Artfight, I will be talking about my first experience competing in Artfight. But first, before we get into that, this video is sponsored by your fave, my fave, Unveil. You have OCs. I know you do. I can see them. And now everyone else can too with Unveil. Unveil is the place to store, show off, and even trade original characters. Create an in-depth profile for each and every one of your OCs with as much or as little detail as possible if you're like me and think that sharing any information about your characters is a spoiler for a story that only exists in your head. You're not lazy, you're just mysterious. Unveil is also strictly AI-free, so you don't have to worry about any AI slop coming across your feed, just the genuine art of over 200,000 artists just like yourself. With the new and improved Explore tab, not only can you find new OCs from other artists, but you can now also browse artist worlds, which are used to house multiple OCs and stories, and writings if you're interested in reading other people's in-depth lore dumps. Unveil is about community as much as it is about the art itself, and there's a place and audience for pretty much any type of character you can imagine. Unveil is the art platform of my dreams. It is so satisfying to see a whole gallery of every single piece of art you've ever made for your favorite OC, and it's super fun to write down every single detail you've ever thought of about them. Does your OC have a favorite ice cream flavor? There's a section for that. Unveil also just added a bunch more themes for the character pages, which look incredible. I'm so excited to use these. The best part about Unveil is that it's completely free, which means that there's no commitments and you can take as long as you want on all of your little guys' profiles and worlds, because once you're done, there's a vibrant and wonderful community waiting to look at them and love them. Check out Unveil using the link in the description, and make sure to follow me because I'm amassing a self-insert OC army. Thanks so much to Unveil for supporting the channel and sponsoring this video, and now, oh my goodness, let's talk about Artfight. When it comes to Artfight, of course, you have 31 days to draw as much as you can. Some people end up doing 20 or 30 pieces. Some people can even go beyond that, making more than a piece every single day. And what was my grand total at the end of Artfight? How many pieces did I draw for my fellow artists? 5. I did 5 Artfight attacks, and all 5 of them were for mutuals or friends of mine. I didn't get around to doing any revenges, and I will explain why I did so few Artfight attacks in a second. But as you know, Artfight takes place during July, and I had just finished up moving at the end of June. For pretty much the entirety of June, I was packing up and moving to a city I had never lived in before. I'd lived in my hometown no more than 5 minutes away from my parents my entire life, so this was a super huge shakeup for me, but I didn't anticipate it having a huge effect on my content output. I have moved multiple times in my life, and drawing is my main coping mechanism, so I figured that even if I was stressed, that would motivate me to draw more and not less. And so I thought that Artfight taking place in July was perfect. Not only was it an excuse to draw as much as I liked, it was also an opportunity to draw for my friends, as well as a chance to wind down after I'd had a extremely stressful move. I started out extremely motivated. I had so many ideas for the people that I wanted to attack and the characters that I wanted to draw. This first character that you're seeing is the first one that I started, but the second one that I finished. finished, so I decided to put it first. This is Kani Kamaboko, and she is a character of my friend Mari Octo Inks. I thought that this would just be a warm-up attack, you know, a simple half-body sketch with simple colors, minimal shading and lighting. I thought after this warm-up I'd be able to do more intense attacks. I was not correct, but you will see that in a second. Kani has a very cute and simplified design, and so I thought she would be a great first attack. Because she has very strong shape language and a color palette that I adore, she was a ton of fun to draw. And so I was feeling super excited and really motivated to get into drawing more characters after this, so I went to bed on the first night of Artfight having finished this attack. All in all, she took me about 45 minutes, so at this pace, I should have been able to at least do an attack a day, right? Wrong. You're incorrect. I severely underestimated how much moving would decimate my motivation. As you've probably noticed, I haven't posted since the first week of July, and when this video goes up, I should have a video that has gone out in August, but I'm working on this at the same time, so I haven't posted anything in August yet. And it's not for lack of ideas. I have so many things that I want to make and projects that I'm working on that I would love to show you guys. I just have not been able to get myself to draw. And that's what was going on during July, during Artfight, and that's the reason why I only ended up making 5 attacks. And not being able to draw in general is one thing, but watching all of your friends pump out these amazing attacks for other people while you've only made 2 and it's the middle of July, that is a different kind of embarrassment. And so that's why it's taking me so long to make this Artfight video. I have no clue if it'll come out at the end of August or the beginning of September, but I was embarrassed that my entire personality revolves around my ability to draw, and I only ended up being able to pump out 5 drawings in 31 days. Which, for anybody else, if you made even one single drawing for Artfight at all, I am proud of you. There is no expectations that you should have for yourself on how many drawings you should have made or how many drawings your friends made. It doesn't reflect at all on you or your ability as an artist. I just had expectations for myself that I didn't end up meeting, and that's why I'm embarrassed. I at least wanted to revenge all of my mutuals who ended up attacking me, but I didn't even get around to that because I just wasn't drawing anything. I just feel like I haven't had that spark for art that I had at the beginning of my channel. I was posting every week because I just couldn't stop myself from making new videos. And now, it's not that I have to force myself to make videos, because I do genuinely enjoy the process. It's just daunting to get started. Once I've actually gotten started, it's easy to finish. It is just getting started that's the hard part. Whether it's a video or an artwork or homework that I have, getting started with anything is extremely difficult. I was recently diagnosed with both ADHD and OCD, so not only do I have terrible procrastination, but I am also an extreme perfectionist, which is the main reason why my videos have been a little bit repetitive lately. I don't want to start on any of the videos that I actually care a whole entire lot about because they have to be perfect the first time, and I have deadlines and expectations that I am contractually obligated to meet. And so if I start on a video like that I care a whole lot about and that I want to be perfect, and it ends up having to be rushed in order to meet that deadline, I feel terrible about it afterwards. Not that I don't care about my redesigns and turning AI art into real OCs videos, but those are relatively easy to make with a quick turnaround time, and I don't feel them eating me up from the inside if they're not perfect afterwards, which is why I haven't been making as many videos on like self-inserts or anything like that lately, because those are extremely personal to me, but they also take a lot of time because I want them to be perfect. But once again, I have deadlines. And so wrapping back around to Artfight, since you have a deadline on all of these pieces, even though it is 31 days out, that put a lot of pressure on me to make these as good as possible, as fast as possible. But rushing things and perfectionism are not really compatible. And so admittedly, the quality of some of the pieces that I made took a hit because I was trying to finish them as fast as possible, which then ends up making me feel bad about them afterwards, and I don't want to put them in a video. Do you see this cycle that I've been stuck in? Speaking of perfectionism, perfectionism, this next attack, which was the first one I finished, but the second one I started. This is Ben from Prism. He's the love of my life. Oh my god! Y'all know I had to draw my man! Prism is, of course, a story by June Actually Ray here on YouTube. And because I love Ben to bits and pieces, this piece had to be perfect. And the reason this was the second one I started but the first one that I finished is because I sat in my bed in the dark for 4 hours trying to get it right. And having these expectations for myself that my pieces have to be at a certain level of quality or they're not worth posting is tiring and it's frustrating. For something like Artfight, there's not really any second chances. I mean, technically, yes, you could go back and redraw an attack that you made for somebody, but who really has time to do that? Because Artfight is limited to a month, you have a ticking timer always looming over you. At least that's how it felt for me. And that's how I've been feeling with my YouTube videos. I've been feeling like there's only one shot to get each one right. Because it's highly unlikely, unless it's your niche, for YouTube to push out multiple videos that you've made on the same topic, if that makes sense. For example, with my Equestria Girls videos, the first redesign video by far performed the best. And then the views steadily went down for each subsequent part after that. It might be because I posted them too close together and people weren't interested in watching multiple videos of the same topic, but for some reason that trend has convinced me that once I make a video on something, I can never make a follow-up video. And so the first video has to be perfect for the most people to see it, because if I make another video after that on the same topic, nobody's gonna watch it. And so for videos that are really important to me, for instance, the video I'd like to make on my original story, I've convinced myself that it needs to be perfect the first time, because if it isn't, nobody will care about it and I will never have another chance to put it out there again. Which, logically, saying it out loud makes no sense. There is no reason I can't post multiple videos on the same topic, but posting redesign videos and videos about turning AI into real OCs isn't personal to me, so if they don't do as well, I won't take that personally. Anyways, this next attack is for my good friend Will Vilderart. This is his character Aster, who I am obsessed with. I am his #1 fan. Nobody loves Aster more than I do. But you know the story by now. This is a character who I love a whole lot, for an artist that I admire and look up to, so this piece has to be perfect, but I have a limited amount of time, so I force myself to get it done fast, and then I'm not 100% satisfied with the result. Rinse and repeat. My mindset for how I was making these drawings is why Artfight wore me out so quickly and made me so demotivated. With every single piece, I had big plans and big expectations, but I could only spend a limited amount of time on it. And so I would fall short of my expectations because they were unrealistic for the time that I was given, or the time that I gave myself, and I would be disappointed with the final result, however good it may be to somebody else. And you know that frustrating feeling when you try something new with your art and try to step outside of your comfort zone, but it doesn't look exactly how you envisioned it, and it's super demotivating and makes you never want to try something new again? That was me for all of July. And logically, there was no reason for me to be feeling this way. The moderators of Artfight or my friends and mutuals were not going to come to my house and kill me if my drawings of their OCs that ended up being a little bit rushed but still made with love and care don't look perfect and are worthy of hanging in the Louvre. Artfight is about having fun and connecting with your community, trying new things and drawing other people's OCs. It's not a race to first place for one single artist. Me spending 2 hours on a piece versus 12 hours on a piece does not reflect on my ability as an artist. I was putting myself in this mindset that what I made had to be perfect or it wasn't worth looking at, and that ended up being why Artfight burnt me out so quickly. Which is not Artfight's fault, it's not a downside of the game being timed. I think that making everybody submit all of their attacks for other artists during the same time frame is perfect and encourages community. I just didn't expect to react to it with such whiplash. But Fortunately, that is a lesson that I've now learned that I can take into next year. This current attack that I'm working on is Surprise for another one of my friends, for Nina Lemons. This is her character Mumu. She's a bimbo girly girl. Not at all the type of character that I usually draw, but I did end up having so much fun drawing her. There was about a 2-week gap between the last attack for Will and this attack for Nina. I had a lot of downtime to think about how I was participating in Artfight and why it was making me so stressed out. And so I tried to go into these last 2 drawings with a bit of a different mindset, trying to put less pressure on myself to make something perfect and just make something that my friends would appreciate. And so I went with a simpler pose and a simpler composition just to get the character onto the page. I figured better something than nothing at all. But I think I really started to loosen up during this attack, and I wasn't taking it as seriously and just having a bunch of fun with it. I still wasn't completely out of that funk, but I was working on it. By now, it was either the second to last or last week of Artfight, and I felt a little guilty for not doing more, so that also affected the way that I went into these last 2 pieces. And looking back on my Artfight experience, do I wish I had drawn more? Of course I do. But of course the timing did end up being unfortunate. Moving did affect me a lot more than I thought it would. And so I'm trying not to be too hard on myself. I do have a lot on my plate. Like I mentioned, there are a bunch of big projects that I'm working on. Maybe not big, but decently sized. They're projects for videos that could take anywhere from a month or 2 or until the new year for me to complete. And I'm not really used to multitasking on videos. I am very used to the structure of making videos that I've had for the past 2 years. Draw the art, record the voiceover, edit the video, post, rinse and repeat. And so working on multiple videos at once that I'm really passionate about but don't know how to divvy up my time between is kind of messing with my brain a little bit. I feel a little bit frazzled. So in the meantime, there probably will be some smaller videos like this, but I'm going to try my best to have a balance of larger videos and smaller videos on my channel in the future, because I do want to stop being such a stickler for perfection and make the videos that I actually care about. Not that I don't care about all my videos. That being said, the last attack for this video and the final attack that I finished for Artfight is for my roommate, my best friend, the person who ended up getting me into Artfight this year and tried so hard to get me into Artfight previous years. This is for Tansy Berry, and this one was kind of hard to keep a surprise because we literally live in the same house. We were sitting on the couch together while I was working on it, and I think doing another fun piece of a cute character was exactly what I needed to round off my Artfight experience. I kind of just went crazy with this one, didn't thumbnail it, didn't plan it out, just let the creative juices flow. Ew, that's gross. I think another reason I was so stressed out during Artfight, which is not at all anybody's fault, but I was getting a lot of attacks, which I can't even begin to describe how grateful I am. The idea that people liked my character designs enough or liked my videos enough to want to make an attack for me during Artfight, I can't put it into words. It was extremely moving. I know it's not that serious, but I appreciate every single attack that I got. Everyone had such kind words to say to me. Even if it wasn't specifically about the characters that I had posted to Artfight, people would say how much they liked my videos, how they've helped them. And I will admit it did get a little overwhelming at times, but it was a good overwhelming. Obviously, I couldn't realistically revenge all of those attacks, but I appreciated every single one of them. I'll make sure to throw them up at the end so you can see it and point to it and be like, wow, that's my attack in an Inkyo video. Even though, of course, I did prioritize attacking my friends and my mutuals, I just want to thank everybody who submitted an attack for me. It means the world to me, as you can tell. I am extremely thankful that Tansy was able to convince me to participate in Artfight this year, finally. All in all, I don't regret participating in Artfight even a little bit. I regret my mindset going into it and how I treated myself during it. But now those are just things I can take with me into next year when I play Artfight again, because I will be playing again. I had so much fun this year, even in between all the agony. If you competed in art fight this year, tell me your experience down in the comments. How many attacks did you end up finishing? How many did you want to get done? I think next year I'll shoot for 7. I was gonna say 10, but that's double what I did this year, so I'm gonna shoot for 7. Anything else is a bonus. Anyways, here is all of the attacks that I did for art fight this year. I'm proud of myself for trying. In previous years, I didn't join because I didn't even think I'd be able to do 1 attack, and I did 5 times that. And here are the thumbnails for all of the attacks that I got. I wish I could show them all individually, but I think that downloading that much would literally crash my computer. Thank you so much again to everybody who submitted an attack for me. I love you all so much. And now for the necessary plug to keep the lights on. If you want to support the channel, make sure to check out my shop. I recently released keychains of all 9 of my designs. Keychains are buy 2, get 1 half off, so that's 3 for $30. And orders over $35 will get free shipping. Everything I make goes directly back into the shop and into the channel. And of course, if you want to see what I'm working on, like those big projects that I mentioned, go check out my Patreon. For less than the price of a big deal double Sonic Smasher meal, you can get your name read at the end of my videos. Thanks so much to the people who will pay for me to buy a Hello Kitty Nintendo 3DS, my $10 patrons, Puntastic Artist, Little Wolfine, Viyun, Zigo Buzz, Wishing Star, Speckadoodle, Billy Lever, Neko Jack, Tyree West, Duran, and Nico to the Stars, as well as all of my other patrons, all of my subscribers, everybody who watches this video, everybody who likes and comments. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. If you're not new, make a new account and subscribe again. Please consider buying a keychain. I worked really hard on them. With that being said, I am Lucky Inkyo, and I will see you very soon.